Speaker, the President of Senegal, Mr. Macky Sall, on the 19th of June stated that Senegal has lost more than 150 billion francs CFA, around 250 million rupees, and I quote, in revenue losses because of the treaty with Mauritius. Now, the Honourable Prime Minister said that he has just met the President of Senegal. May I know from the Honourable Prime Minister, what has he told the President to reassure him that using Mauritius would not end up in revenue losses for Senegal?
Well, Speaker, I think it would not be proper for me to make public my discussions with the President of Senegal. But I can reassure the Honourable Member, as I said, that matter, amongst others, it was not the only issue that was raised. That matter has been raised. And I must say I'm very happy that he has agreed, and I've been able to convince him that we should look again at this DTA, which is very important for the business relations between our two countries in the light of the development and the partnership that we are having with Senegal. And he has agreed immediately, and that's why we have been able to get the dates also, and the technical team will be meeting and they will be discussing.
The termination of the treaty comes at a time where Mauritius is under serious attack by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalism and the Mauritius League, precisely because of allegations of Mauritius being used by investors to deprive African countries of much-needed tax revenue. So is the Honourable Prime Minister satisfied that his government is doing whatever is necessary to change the bad image and reputation which Mauritius have in the international community and in particular among African countries?
Madam Speaker, I must say I am appalled by the frivolous attacks that are being made against Mauritius, and more appalled by some Mauritians. I mean, I won't mention from which quarters they are coming from. They are also joining in the fray to attack our jurisdiction. They are, I would call them to be very unpatriotic in this way. I hope I'm not imputing motive on the Honourable Member's question, but I wish to reassure the jurisdiction, the stakeholders and the country that we are doing whatever it takes, in fact, to reply to those frivolous and unwarranted and unjustified attacks. And I will tell the Honourable Member, wait and see. You will see the results that this government, that this team will be having in the very near future.
Madam Speaker, the truth of the matter is that the treaty with Senegal has been terminated. The treaty with India has been renegotiated to our detriment. The treaty with South Africa has been renegotiated to our detriment. The treaty with Kenya is not yet implemented. The treaty with Nigeria is not yet enforced. So wouldn't the Prime Minister agree that ever since he took office in 2015, this government has brought only bad news to the offshore sector?
Oh, what a load of nonsense. I must say a load of nonsense. And I will ask him to go and do some research because he's so well informed. In 2004, Indonesia put an end to our treaty. Up to now, there has been no treaty with Indonesia. And you are giving us lessons?
Yes, B836.
Madam Speaker, in line with the mandate of my ministry, hearing aids and other assistive devices are provided pursuant to the provisions of the Social Aid Regulations of 1984. Eligible applicants suffering from hearing impairment are certified by a registered audiologist or speech therapist are supplied with hearing aids free of charge. The eligibility criterion for the provision of hearing aids is based on the monthly household income of an applicant. Until this government came into office, only applicants whose household income did not exceed 12,500 rupees per month qualified for hearing aids. In order to provide assistance to a greater number of our citizens, this government has increased the eligibility threshold from household incomes of 12,500 rupees per month to household incomes of up to 30,000 rupees per month. This has allowed many more families to be eligible for such assistance. It has to be highlighted, Madam Speaker, that this government has increased the budgetary provisions in respect of hearing aid devices from 5.5 million in the last financial year of the previous regime to 14.5 million in financial year 2018-2019, representing an increase of more than 160%. This has certainly enabled my ministry to increase the procurement of hearing aid devices to many more citizens of our country. The information regarding the number of applications received and the number of hearing aids issued for years 2014 to 2018 and since January 2019 to date are currently being compiled and will be laid in the library of the National Assembly.
Yes. Madam Speaker, is the Honourable Minister aware that for a number of years there have been people applying for these hearing aids and not receiving any because the contract for the supplier of these hearing aids was terminated and a new contract was not awarded until very recently?
No, unfortunately, I believe the Honourable Member is mistaken or misinformed. The contracts are allocated every year on a tender basis, and what I know, however, is that on one specific year, the tender had to be cancelled following objections from one of the tenderers.
Yes, then, if this is the case, the Honourable Minister will not have any problem telling the House for 2018 who was awarded the contract for the supplier of hearing aid, how many of the hearing aid was supplied in 2018 last year?
I don't have the figure, as I said, it's been compiled, but this is official. Those tendering processes are publicized and it is readily available. The
people in my constituency who complain that for the past 3 years they have not received hearing aids because there is no hearing aid available in the ministry.
That is not correct. I know for sure, I checked today, there are hundreds of hearing aids available at my ministry. I would respectfully suggest that the Honourable Member just gives me the names of those constituents of his, and I will try and see what is the problem and how it can be solved.
Next question.
B 837.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I wish to reply to both PQB 837 and PQB 856. I am informed by the Mauritius Football Association that from 2014 to 2018, an amount of 6,854,031 rupees has been disbursed for the training of women in football and their participation in competitions. From January to June 2019, the sum of 2,354,855 rupees has been spent by the Mauritius Football Association for the same purpose. Madam Speaker, the mandate of my ministry is the development of sports and athletes. As regards the participation of women in sports, my ministry is committed to promoting equality. Women's football has not the same success as male football. Therefore, my ministry has come with policies to encourage more girls and women to practice football. Several écoles de foot have been set up across the island, and we have, as at date, 660 girls in these schools. These trainees are offered support and guidance from qualified coaches.
Is the Honourable Minister aware that in the COSAFA Women's Championship in August of this year, Zambia beat Mauritius the football club, 15-0. That's not rugby, but we are about football. So have this information been brought to the attention of the Honourable Minister, and what action has been taken in light of this humiliating defeat by our girls?
Madam Speaker, of course I'm aware of this result. As I've said in my reply, we have started formation à la base, et c'est pour cela que j'ai dit, donc nous avons plusieurs écoles de foot où nous avons fait de sorte à ce que les filles intègrent ces écoles de foot. Bien sûr, nous n'aurons pas les résultats aujourd'hui, ni demain, ni l'année prochaine. Et en plus, nous avons aussi l'Académie de football de Liverpool qui a été lancée récemment. Et nous avons 80 filles qui ont participé aux trials qui ont été faits à travers l'île. Ben, moi, en tout cas, je suis confiant que dans quelques années, on aura de très bons résultats avec la formation que nous sommes en train d'apporter.
Has the Honourable Minister hold discussion with the Mauritius Football Association to see whether the problem is one of coaching, whether more resources needed from the government to promote women's football in Mauritius?
Yes, Madame la Présidente. De toutes les façons, tout ce que le ministère fait, c'est en étroite collaboration avec toutes les fédérations. Donc les techniciens se sont assis ensemble pour voir quels sont les différents problèmes et comment on peut aider. Mais je peux rassurer l'honorablement, mais toute la population en général, qu'au niveau de mon ministère, nous allons mettre tous les moyens possibles à la disposition de football pour les filles, les footballs féminins. Et je l'ai dit, donc je crois fermement que les écoles de foot et l'Académie de football de Liverpool vont nous donner des résultats dans quelques années.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House if the Ladies Football Club receives a grant just like the Gents Club, and if yes, what is the sum allocated?
I don't have the information with me. I will find out and circulate it.
Next question, Honourable Uteem.
Yes, B841.
Madam Speaker, the Interministerial Committee was set up under my chairpersonship in February 2019 through a cabinet decision with a mandate to look into the recommendations made by the Law Reform Commission in its opinion paper. Mechanism for settlement of land dispute, including dispossession of land, as highlighted in the report of the Truth and Justice Commission. The committee has met on 6 occasions. In June 2019, the Interministerial Committee made the following recommendations. 4A, the setting up of a land division of the Supreme Court, the setting up of a land research and monitoring unit to take over and complete the work of the Mandatory Commission in respect of the 340 cases as highlighted before the Truth and Justice Commission. The creation of a special fund of not less than 50 million to meet the expenses related to the work and functions of the land research and monitoring unit. As the House will recall, it was announced in the budget speech 2019-2020 by the Honourable Prime Minister that new legislations will be introduced to set up a land division of the Supreme Court. Moreover, the Land Research and Monitoring Unit, also announced in the budget speech 2019-2020, has already been set up at the Ministry of Housing and Land since July 2019. Moreover, an amount of 50 million has been provided in the 2019-2020 estimates of the Ministry of Housing and Lands to meet expenses in connection with the Land Research and Monitoring Unit. The unit is operating on a full-time basis, and cases have started to be re-examined. Searches and verification are ongoing.
The Honourable Vice Prime Minister mentioned that the Interministerial Committee submitted its recommendation in June of this year. So 3 months later, can we know if the government intends to bring the legislation to set up this land division of the Supreme Court before the end of its mandate?
Well, Madam Speaker, so I must say we took a commitment. We view it very seriously, and as I have just mentioned, Well, of course, there will be the setting up of the land division of the Supreme Court, but to say when it will be the completion of the setting up of the land division of the Supreme Court. So now, at the time being, I am not in a position to tell you the time frame, but as I have said, the needful is being done at the level of the Attorney General's office.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a strike, a hunger strike. The government took a commitment to set up this court. The Interior Ministerial Committee has recommended the court. So my question is very simple. There's only a few months left before Parliament stands dissolved. So my question is, between now and December, does the government intend to bring this legislation before Parliament?
Yes, I have said we are working on it. So we will come, you need to have patience, madam. I can't do miracles. I have said, you yourself, you are saying that decision has been taken in June 2019. So I have said that this is a matter of priority. We are taking it very seriously. Works have started. We have already set up the land research and monitoring unit. We have already, the fund is already there, so works have started. I reassure Honourable Member that needful is being done.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Vice Prime Minister is an attorney. She knows that there are many legal hurdles in front of a victim who claim to have been fraudulently dispossessed of their land. So may I know if the Interministerial Committee had also looked into the possibility of amending legislation such as the Civil Code and even perhaps even the Constitution to enable victims to get back their land, especially after the expiry of the prescription delay.
Madam Speaker, I must say that at the level of the Land Research and Monitoring Committee, we have presently a senior survey technician and also management support officer. There is a principal surveyor who is overseeing the whole work, but I must say I am aware that the services of an attorney and free surveyors will be retained by the said unit, and they will have to look into the whole issue.
Honourable